everyone. There we go. Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's late on a Monday night. I think it's Monday. But you all know I love a good evening time. Slow down, thought process, reflect on some things, all the jazz. And so, if you guys are up this late, maybe you're just now actually catapulting your children into the bed. Maybe you are, good evening, finally winding down for the evening yourself. Maybe you've had a long day at work. Perhaps you are just taking a deep breath. If you're here, we want to say welcome to our community. I am Christina. I am your productivity coach. It has been my honor for the last at least 8 years to support amazing, ambitious superstar women with all the tools they need to get more done, right? And we want to not just do more, we also want to be more effective. On top of being more effective, we want to be more rested. And on top of being more rested, we want to make sure that we are walking in our purpose, okay? So I'm going to get my light life together. And we're going to talk for a few minutes this evening about the beauty of delegating. This is going to be really good. So if you have a friend, a business bestie that you want to forward this information to, I highly suggest that you go ahead and send this to her. I'm even going to tag a couple of good girlfriends on Instagram to come and join me this evening, because I know for a fact that this needs to be talked about more often, okay? This evening, we are really focusing in on the beauty of delegating, the beauty of doing less stuff, okay? I don't know about you. If you're anything like me, you have a lot going on. You have a lot of big dreams that you want to accomplish, and you're trying to figure out, Christina says, do this. Christina says, I can be this. Christina is doing all the stuff. How in the world is she making it happen? Okay. And so, as a result of lessons that I've learned over the years, good evening, as a result of the receipts that we have built over time, I literally walk, talk, and breathe the delegating process. Okay. I walk, talk, and breathe it. Here's the reason why. Because we all only have 24 hours in a day, right? Every single one of us, we have different dreams, different goals, different ambitions that we want to pursue, but every single one of us gets the same amount of hours in a day. All right. Stacy said, I'm here for the gems. I stay for the community. We're glad you're here. You know that. And so I want to this evening just drop a little bit of information, knowledge. It's a micro training. Today is Monday, so we might teach this again tomorrow during the daytime for those of us who stay up late, okay? But I really wanted to make sure that I push this information forward, because a lot of us are just doing a lot of stuff that we don't have to do, okay? A lot of us are doing a lot of things that we do not have to do, all right? So I'm going to pull something up for you guys. It's going to bless your life, all right? So if we're going to work on delegating, if we're going to work on being our most prosperous, ambitious, incredible selves, okay, I first want you to know that delegating requires some intentional planning. It requires being intentional. Often we start to just think about the things that we can move off of our list as if it's going to magically hop from the list to someone else's hands. And the struggle can be for many of us is that we are not wanting to go through the process to give it to somebody else. Okay, we don't want to go through the process of giving it to someone else. The reason that this is so good for me to talk about tonight is because I walk, talk, and breathe delegating today. I had some really intense things I had to get done, Stacy. You hear me? Like, you know how you have it on the list and you're like, if it doesn't happen today, or I was supposed to do it last week, it must get done today. One of those things, it was like, I have to sit down for this series of time and get this accomplished. I have to. I can't continue to put it off. Excuse me. And so I embraced delegating today. Early in the day, we were cleaning. right? And so I was having my sons outside helping to pick up things, my daughter in the house sweeping, my son cleaned the kitchen this afternoon, all the things. And then this evening, my 13-year-old son, who had been wanting to cook dinner, he did like a Asian inspired chicken thigh, okay, with diced zucchinis and rice, and it was a whole vibe. The whole family just like, Isaiah, this is incredible, okay? Here's why I'm saying all of this. I had to breathe delegating today in order to make other things happen. Y'all hearing me? I had to soak it in. I had to breathe in delegating in order to make other things happen. All right. Some of us, we want to delegate. We want to give some things away, but we really don't want to sit in. This is what I need to do in order to make it happen. I really don't want to do that part. That part isn't interesting. The training, the teaching is not as fun as I think it's going to be. So I want to be someone who gives multiple tasks away. Good evening. I want to be somebody that gets to delegate certain tasks, but I don't want to be the one to teach. I don't want to be the person that has to instruct and train. So one thing I want you to know is that delegating takes intentional planning. Delegating also takes a level of focus. Okay, because when you are delegating, you are looking to replace yourself in a strategic fashion. You're not just trying to live, right? You're not just trying to, oh, I just want to do less to do less. No, you want to replace yourself in a strategic fashion. If there are things around my house that need to be done, cleaning, cooking, some measure of childcare support, okay, I'm going to delegate a lot of that stuff. All that matters for me is that the 5-year-old gets clean. Do I always have to be the person to do it? No. Okay. All that matters to me is that my kitchen gets clean. Do I always have to be the person that does it? Do you have to be the person that solves all the problems? So here's where we really have to, good evening, we really have to break down. We really have to break down, is our current system working? Just sit with it for just a little while. Is my current system working? Okay, I'm about to tag a couple people real quick. Hold on, guys. There we go. All right. So there can be some elements, right, where we refuse to do what we really need to do because we don't want to be the person that trains. Okay. So Supernatural Mama says, no, it's not working. It's okay. That's okay. We're going to talk about it. All right. So learning to delegate, it requires intentional planning and it requires focus. Okay. It also requires you letting go of your ego. Like my husband would say when he's preaching, I wish I could stay on this for a while. It requires us letting go of our egos. Okay. Sometimes we are so obsessed with doing things our own way that we end up everything going our way. Sometimes we are so excited about, leaning in and being focused on X, Y, and Z that we will not have it any other way. We always have to do it in our own particular fashion. We're not ready to let go of doing things in our way. So when we start talking about delegating, when we start talking about giving things away to other people, we have to let go of our ego. Okay. So I'm about to tell you guys the definition of delegating. And I shared this earlier along with some serious hacks. Okay. But we're going to go through it real quick today. It says delegate means to entrust a task. Y'all got me? It means to entrust a task to another person, to entrust a responsibility to another person. And typically, this person is less senior than yourself. Okay? It does not mean the person is less important than you. Y'all got me? It does not mean the person is less important than you. It does mean, though, that they are less senior than yourself. This is what this means. Let's lean into that a little bit. Hey, Rochelle, let's lean into it. Doesn't mean the people are less important than you. Okay. It just means they might have less responsibility. I got on my kids the other day. Y'all hear me? On them the other day. You want to know why? One of my kids, I can't remember which one, they were like, Mama, sometimes you wake up or you come in and you fussing about whatever, whatever. I said, well, listen, your mama works hard. Okay. Your daddy works hard. You all have no job, no place to be, no serious responsibilities, but to help with chores around the house and clean up your room. So I said, so one day when you become a parent, you too have the right to pop off a little bit because the people who live in your house did not do what you told them to do, and you're the one that pays the bills. And so when we are delegating, we are accepting the fact that, you know what? I'm not the person that is solely responsible for all of this stuff. So delegating by definition, to entrust a task or responsibility to another person, typically who is less senior than oneself. But even with your husband, for example, if you're married, he is not any less senior than me. We are equals, right? He's the king of the castle, I'm the queen of the castle. But today, this afternoon, he made lunch for us. Today, this afternoon, he may say, okay, I'm going to do this or do that, taking some responsibilities off of my plate so I can go and be somewhere else or do something else. Okay. But a lot of times we are so obsessed. Y'all hear me? We are so obsessed with being the person that's the primary problem solver. It does something to our ego. It does something to scratch our spidey sense, right? Like when I become the person that's the primary problem solver, it does something for me. It makes me feel so important. It makes me feel so good. My family relies so heavily on me. I told one of our followers one time, she was like, listen, I told my kids the other day, she said, I make this house run. Y'all thrive off of everything that I do and yada, yada, yada. And I asked her on the live, because y'all know I will just coach y'all live. And if y'all have questions, y'all can drop them in the chat. I was like, listen, if your whole family, everything in your house runs off of you, your energy, your time, your effort, I said, how is that working out for you? So how's that working out? And she said, you know what? It's not. And it takes us moving to the other side to realize that as virtuous women, all of my clients are amazing ladies in powerful positions. They are community shifters, change makers, mom entrepreneurs, moms in the C-suite. They're all these kind of ladies, right? We got an actress, we got some attorneys and women in politics and this and that, all these different fields, right? Therapists and counselors and doctors are the women I get to work with. Okay. And in the midst of them being so amazing in so many places, the advice that they would give to other people, it is so hard for them to hold on to that themselves. It's so challenging for them to hold on to, I don't have to do everything myself. Maybe you're a problem solver in your career, so you bring that home. Maybe you're a problem solver in your corporate space, so you bring it home. Maybe you're a woman who is empowered by, you're excited by people needing you. So you hold on to that and you live your life in that way. So let's just start to look at what are the causations behind me not wanting to delegate stuff. Why do I feel like I need to hold on to this? Okay. So one thing is for sure is that learning to delegate is a command. Hello and good evening. Hey, sis, is a command from God. Okay, it's a command from God. Now, we may say, hey, Tracy, love y'all. We might not see it all the time that delegating is a command from God. but it is. Okay. Y'all want to know where I got it from? Somebody say, check the word. Somebody say, check the word. Refusing to delegate is more than a desire. We have a presentation on delegating, so I'm pulling from a couple of these slides tonight. 1 Corinthians 12, 17 through 20. It says, if the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as I wanted them to be. That's not what it says. It says just as God wants them to be, he put the parts in the body. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. There are many people, but one family. There are many missions, but one idea, right, that goes together. It says the eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you. The head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. The mom cannot say to the dad, I don't need you. The mom can't say to the kids, I don't need you. There are many people, but one family. And when that dropped on me so heavy in deep down in here, okay, that I'm not supposed to be doing everything. There are many parts of my body, but it's only one family. Many people live in the Garrett house. Y'all know I have 5 children, right? I don't look like it, but I do. I have 5 children. And they just eat, sleep, and breathe Cheeto crumbs, right? I'm sorry, it just don't sit right with me that I'm the primary problem solver, especially for things I didn't cause. It's important for them to feel the gravity of having responsibility. I tell my sons all the time, I have 4 boys and just this one girl. And of course, the girl would be the best cook out of all the kids, right? And so I have to make sure, for balance sake, that the boys are learning to cook and practicing learning to cook just as much as she has that time to cook, right? Rochelle said, can my 6 kids come live with you for a while to learn some of these lessons? I dare to say you can grab these right now and run home with them, or run them tomorrow and say, listen, what are you guys going to be responsible for? Right? You got it. You the mama. You got more kids than me. Okay. So, number 1, delegating is a whole command. Okay. Let's just dispel the myth that you don't have to delegate. Yes, you do. And I'm going to tell you something from a coach perspective. I don't have any women in my life, any clients in my life, any women in our community, any ladies who come to the conference October 27th through the 29th in Atlanta, right? I don't have any ladies who are a part of our mission, our community here, who are not powerhouses. I don't have anybody here. If you're listening to me tonight for the first time or the 15th, I don't have anyone that I serve as a client or I serve in this community that is not a powerhouse. You are here because you want to see, how can you do some things differently? How can you turn it around? How can you get some time back? How can you take naps uninterrupted? Some of us haven't taken an uninterrupted shower in years. Some of us haven't had time to really think out our thoughts and pour some things out, right? Some of us, we've been struggling with all of that. But here's the reason that we have to do it. We have to do it because you have something amazing that you're supposed to deposit while you're here on the planet. I don't know the full extent of it, right? But somebody's life is dependent on you taking your time back and implementing. Somebody's life is waiting on this. Can y'all imagine? Like, you guys have seen some of the things that we've done over the years, right? Like, can y'all imagine if I didn't do any of it? If I didn't do any of it? If I said, oh, it's not a big deal if I learn how to, get my life together so I can help somebody else with theirs. What if I didn't care? What if I was apathetic? That's the word I'm looking for. What if I was apathetic about my purpose? What if I was like, tomorrow for everything, I got to go wipe some counters? It ain't nothing wrong with cleaning. My floor needs to be mopped in the kitchen right now. But let me give you a list of things I did not do today. I did not clean my kitchen. I did not cook lunch. I did not cook dinner. I didn't run circles around anybody. I still loved on my children, right? They still got loved on. We had talks about Jackie Hill Perry and Jesus Christ being Lord of the body, and dressing in a modest way, and the rainbow community. We had talks about all of this stuff today while I worked, while I breathed, while I relaxed, while I ran out with my husband, just rode with him and spent time with him. All these moments in between, we did all of this today. But what I chose not to do was sit and harbor over, these other minuscule things that are not consequential to the bigger picture. Okay. So a lot of times we are hesitant about delegating because, hey, Jordan, that's my client, y'all. She's so pretty. Like when y'all see her in October, she's just gorgeous. Her curls, she got like 3C curls. She be late. Anyway, so all of these things going forward. You see what I'm saying? Tracy said, I just took a shower. Uninterrupted, right? Uninterrupted. Hi. Hey, Steph. We have to move these things forward. It just has to happen, okay? So you're delegating because there's something that you're supposed to do on this planet that matters. It really, really matters. And how in the world do we do this thing that matters if we're all tied up in all this extra stuff? If we're all burdened with being the problem solver for everything. So I'm going to give you guys an example that is a bit rogue, but I'm going there, okay? So yesterday on Father's Day, I did a post. I was like, listen, single moms, we love y'all, but today is not your Father's Day. Today's not your Father's Day, right? Listen, you should get double portion on Mother's Day, but you're not a guy. It's not maternal Father's Day, right? Rochelle, if you know Nicole Green, would you tag her in this post? Tag her below, okay? So I was like, listen, we love y'all, single mamas, but today is not your day. Now, naturally, the chat flew up. We can't tell anybody about their life. We can't We can't do this. Single moms do so much, yada, yada. Single moms, we love you. You are not a dad, okay? Listen, my husband's father has passed on. My father has passed on. So I understand what it's like to feel like Father's Day isn't giving what it was supposed to have gave. I get it, right? I can understand we've had to go through the process of forgiving parents for who we thought they were supposed to be, but aren't, and da-da-da. My husband talks an awful lot about that journey, about that transparent experience of loving his father no matter what, I was like, but still, yet and still, y'all, this is just what it is. Here's what I was going with this, is in the journey of becoming this person, okay, you're going to have to learn to delegate. So what I said in my post was, if you're a single mom, right, there is some man, some positive man somewhere in your life who has encouraged you, who has supported your children, who has given them an encouraging word. There's been somebody who has spoken life to your family. Okay? Somebody. I don't know who that person is. If it wasn't my father, who was a man of character, a man of God, my brother's coach, Coach Dave, spoke life into us. My friends' fathers, spoke life into us. We saw a present Black dad in the lives of our friends, right? Like there were lots of Black men. My pastor, Pastor Buckner, Damon Bray, who was one of the youth teachers at my church, who taught me that the word of God is always consistent. I still carry that, and I am almost 40. Y'all get my drift? Like there's somebody there to bridge the gap. What does this have to do with delegating? Sometimes we will blind our eyes to the people that are walking with us and supporting us. We will blind our own eyes. We will tell ourselves that there is no one here. No one cares. Nobody's close by. I'm all alone. When in fact, your spouse would love to support. But the last time he asked if you needed help, you said, no, you got it. Never mind. Because you like it your way. The last time the children tried to help, they just make a mess of things. I got it. I'll take care of it. Don't sweat. There were other days where we said, I want this, I want that, I need this. But then when people tried to come in to support us a certain kind of way, we rejected the support. And then later we come on the Happy Father's Day post and say, there's no man in my life at all that has ever supported me ever. Is this true? Is this actually a fact? Then we come and we say, my husband is like my second child, my third child, my fifth child. Some of y'all, I talk to you and y'all are like, yeah, I have 4 kids. I'm sorry, my husband is my fifth. I'm sorry. Isn't he grown? Wasn't he grown enough to choose you? Or was he childish when he did that too? Oh, that was rough. Anyway, I love y'all. I'm just saying, it's like sometimes we lean so far in the other direction, we are not accepting help. Okay. So tonight, as we get ready to, I'm going to give y'all a couple of final notes. Okay. So number 1, learning to delegate is a command from God. Okay. 1 Corinthians 12 says that as there are many parts, but one body, and no part of the body can say to the other, I don't need you. Okay. So if you're going to delegate, you got to decide what you're going to do and what you're going to give away to someone else. What are you going to give away to someone else? Here's the truth behind all of this. Tracy, I know that was rough what I just said. Here's why we must delegate. Okay. We must delegate because there are new areas in your life where you are supposed to be growing. There are areas in your life where you're supposed to be shifting and maturing and stretching. And what happens is life comes and life knocks us over. And we forget I'm supposed to be stretching. We forget I'm supposed to be doing really big things. We forget I'm supposed to be going up here. But life's distractions kept me relatively level, kept me stuck where I am. Okay? So when you delegate, you are creating space. We love to talk about reclaiming our time. We love to talk about I'm getting mine back. I'm going to another level. Y'all know all this kind of stuff. But then when Monday comes, we still are in love with being the primary problem solver. Okay. So my sister on Instagram says, I'm accepting help, but when that help, outside relatives, when it comes with toxicity, I feel limited. Totally understandable. Get different help. Get different help. Here's what I mean. You are not limited in any way. You're not limited in any way. We may feel limited a lot of times, but you have no limit. You have no limit. So if, for example, you need to hire somebody to come in and help with the smaller children, I know that she's a mom of many, right? If you need somebody to come in and help with the smaller kids for a certain amount of time, how much does that cost for you to do that once a week? Is that the equivalent of you selling one business coaching session? Is that the same price as you selling a special needs coaching? She's gonna laugh. Special needs mom coaching session, a career session, doing hair. I'm just calling out people I see. What is it that you need to do in order to make that happen? Because I have no limitation. I don't have a limit. The question is, how resourceful am I? And that's where, and I'm probably another day this week, we're going to talk about resourcefulness. What's today? Today's Monday. We might do this tomorrow night. Okay. We'll talk about resourcefulness, because if you're not willing to tap into being resourceful to go and get something for yourself, then you're always going to feel confined. We're always going to feel like it's not possible. We're always going to feel like, I'm not sure I can make it to the next place. Okay. So as we're delegating, get resourceful. Get resourceful. What tools do you have? Just like the woman in First King, Second King, she had the jar, she had a little oil. What do you got in your house that you can use to create an impact so you can get more of what you want? And it's okay if that's what you need to do in this season. My kids are old now. They can stay home by themselves, right? But for those of us who still have small children and we're figuring some things out, how do I need to be resourceful? We went and found the teenager at the church. We had one of my best friends who was, every now and then, she didn't mind stopping by to watch a child, right? Things of that nature. We did what we needed to do in order to move to the next place. But a lot of times we do not delegate like we should. Hey, sis, good evening. We're not delegating like we should because we're not falling into resourceful. Now I'm going to give you guys 3 things that delegating requires, and then we're going to sign off for the night. Okay. Then I'm going to call to action you, and then we'll sign off for the night. Okay. So number 1, delegating requires time. Okay. Delegating requires time. Here's the thing. Many of us have been okay. We've been fine with being the primary problem solver for years. Not just months, not just since 2023 started, years. You have put out fires for years. You have ran all over the place for years. You have been the chef years. You've been the nurse years. You've been the homeschooling mom years. You've been all these things for years. You've given a yes in places where you did not want to give a yes. We've let boundaries down in places where we didn't want to let our boundaries down. So now, here we are wanting to delegate as a result of hearing this conversation, wanting to move some things from our personal plate, from our business plate, but it takes time to do this. It takes time. You cannot just do something for years and then when you're ready to shed the old skin, you think it's going to happen overnight. Dr. Rochelle said, that's the problem, time. And it's not that you don't have enough time, it's that you don't want to use the time you have to learn to delegate. Everybody got that? So by that, I mean, my 8-year-old son finished his food. I said, listen, go ahead and empty your plate out into the trash. Don't let any of it get on the floor. Okay. So I had to talk him through that process. Okay, I see you washing this plate. It's still greasy. This is not clean. I want you to do this instead with the sponge. And I'm showing him how, and then rubbing it till it's squeaky clean. Okay. I had to slow down this evening, which is why I signed on at 9:05 instead of 9:00 on the dot, is because I had to slow myself down to teach my son the proper way to do it. And many of us, we don't want to slow down and utilize that time to do that. We don't want to slow down. I don't feel like I have time. It's faster if I just do it myself, right? Surely it's faster if I just take care of it myself instead of looking at the long haul, everything over the course of time. You telling me that if I wash stuff out for you now, it saves me time today. If I teach you to do these things yourself, good evening, I have saved myself years. My son learning to make General Tao's chicken at 13 saves me a dinner a week for the next 5 years. Them learning how to clean out their plates, them learning how to clean the kitchen, them learning how to take care of each other. Takes years, gives me years back. Paying my daughter to clean the bathrooms, years back. Y'all see what I'm saying? So what happens is a lot of times we forget it's taking years of us saying yes to all the things. It now takes some time, not years, especially if you're working with me. Just saying. But it takes time to undo those yeses and those lack of boundaries, okay? So Tracy can tell you, I think our first session, I was like, listen, how can we just have you not doing laundry anymore? And every week, right? We'd be like, are you doing laundry? She was like, nope. We're going to let the kids do the laundry. We're going to let the kids clean the kitchen. We're going to teach these kids to cook. We're going to teach you guys to watch each other. Don't burn the house down while me and daddy go to Starbucks and take over the world. But it takes time of us unplugging and saying, okay, I'm reclaiming what belongs to me. Okay, so number one, delegating takes time. Number two, delegating takes training. Okay, this is the part where Rochelle said, yes, Tracy, no laundry. Yeah. Okay, this is the part where you have to document your processes. Over the course of time, you may never ever have thought of what the bullet points of a clean kitchen looks like. Little points. You may never have thought of what it takes to have the living room and dining room clean to practically the way you like it. Okay. You may never have thought about what in your business, for example, what your voice sounds like. Okay, what your voice sounds like. What does my voice sound like when I send correspondence to clients, when I reach out, do follow-ups with people? We don't think about our voice or our process. But when I hired my virtual assistant, I had to come up with all of that. I had to say, you know what? Here are the things that I want you to say, or this is how I want this done, et cetera, so that I could delegate that to her. I had to hand that off by bringing her on and training her. Listen, these are the things that are our mission for the week. Okay, these are what we're going to be. This is what the focus is. So I had to train my kids on how to do things the way that, not perfectly, but closer to the way that me and their dad would like it, but not perfect. Okay, but not perfect. So I might say, for example, a clean kitchen, we have a double sink, is when both sides of the sink are clear and the sink is wiped out, right? That for me, and the counters, and you swept, that is a finished kitchen day. If you have not wiped out both sides of the sink and swept and wiped the counters, you're not done yet. Okay, here's where time and training. Are y'all getting this? Is this good? This is where time and training go together. Because if they did not do it to completion, if the children did not do something, a task to completion, you have to go and get them and bring them back to finish it the right way. This is where most of us fall off. Okay, here's why. because we are not finishers ourselves. We don't finish things ourselves because we half do stuff, because we start projects and don't complete them, because we have good intentions but don't finish, because we have ideas and we work on it a little bit and then we pull back. Because we do all of this stuff, we have it's an internal subconscious sabotage. Now that I'm doing so much more like mindset coaching and learning, y'all, it's something internal that we have. It's a guilt, okay? It's an internal guilt that we have that we are not finishers. So it's hard for you to go back and get your kids who are not finishers because internally you feel hypocrisy. God dang it. Ah! Oh my God. Does anybody feel coached tonight? Oh my gosh. So internally, you feel an inner push, like an inner restriction inside that makes you say, I don't finish what I start. Surely my children need grace that they didn't finish what they started. That's rough. That's rough. That's a rough download. Okay. And I've said it before, but I never really felt it as weighted as I did just now. Like, we will want something from them, but because we have not committed to it ourselves, we will have a hard time requiring greater from our children because internally we feel like hypocrites. Internally we feel hypocritical. Terry said, yes, we saw that. I'm telling you, think about the things that we like start and don't finish. And then we are in our feelings later on. Let me wrap this thing up. Delegating takes time. It takes time, hours, weeks to undo the yeses that you've been giving all this time. Delegating takes training, okay? It takes training. You must teach them exactly those itemized listings of things that need to be accomplished, okay? And number 3, delegating takes trust. You must genuinely believe in your heart that the people you love, that love you back, want you to be the best version of yourself. Okay? You have to actually believe that your husband and kids don't want the cranky, mean Godzilla version of you. You have to actually believe they want to help you. You have to actually feel that in your heart and be convinced of that in order to trust them with tasks. Okay? You have to believe that even if you're paying your virtual assistant or whatever, you got to believe that she's in this thing with you. That when my business does well, my virtual assistant's business does well, right? So we get to be progressive. Tracy said, I'm still on number 3, and that's when I go get coffee. Time, training, trust. Okay, you can rehearse these over and over again. If I've been saying yes for a decade, why do I feel like because I listened to a live with Christina, that's going to be done? I'm going to wake up tomorrow, my family will have changed. No, it's not how it works. That's why now we work with clients for like 6 months, right? Because life is a process. Life be lifing. It takes time. And then sometimes life comes and knocks you over and you got to get back up and bounce back. Because it takes time for you to undo all of these yeses and then figure out what's next for me. I haven't even had time to think about what's next for me because I'm so enthralled and ingrained with what everybody else has going on. Okay? So delegating takes time. Delegating takes training. And it takes trust. You must genuinely believe that the people that love you, that live with you, that they really do want what's best for you. Okay. So Dr. Rochelle says, I'm working on the follow through on number 2. Lazy mom does all the work. Oh, that's a good one. The lazy way of doing things is for you to do all the work. There's some good stuff on this live tonight. There's some good stuff. I don't know who's not watching this. They need to get with it. Ooh-wee. Lazy mom does all the work. It is easier for me to just do it all myself than it is for me to teach you how to do it. It's faster for me to do it now, but for how long? Okay, so that is just so heavy. As we wrap up tonight, Tracy, I felt that too. That was a good word. That was a good word. So as we wrap up this evening, you all already know it is June. Can y'all believe that? I just cannot believe it. It's June already. Good evening. And we are excited about what God is doing this year. We're excited about what our clients are doing. And we have 3 ways of serving you. Okay. Number 1 is through our community of women. We have the absolute best. I was telling the ladies yesterday on the single mom post. I was like, listen, if you're a single mama, it's all good, sis. But today ain't your day. Like Father's Day isn't your day. And a couple of them were a little salty, but it's all right. They'll heal. But in addition to that, I was like, we have the baddest in our tribe to do it. It's just what it is. Like we have incredible women working in politics. We got them in Hollywood. We have them as attorneys and actresses and educators and working in corporate. They're doing all the things, but everyone's goal is always the same. I want to do more, grow more, rest more, earn more, but without burning myself out. Okay. If you have been trying to put together the pieces are going to look something like this: loving God, trying to grow like he says grow, loving your family because you want to be present with them still, you want to enjoy them. You know, I have 5 children. I want to soak them all in as they are getting taller than me. I want to just breathe that in, you know? So you want to love God, you want to love your family, but you also love the work that you're called to do. And I'm a firm believer that if you're hearing me tonight, if you have been rolling with me all this time tonight, or if you just signed on, that there's something so incredible for you to do in this world. We really do need for you to embrace your voice and then press fast forward on what you're called to do. Because literally, I think about it all the time. I'm like, what if I just didn't? What if I just didn't decide to have a little conference where the chicken was dry in this little tiny ballroom? What if I never started? What if I didn't believe my husband when he said, babe, God is doing something in your life? What if I didn't believe him? What if I didn't believe what God says about me? How many amazing women would I have never had the chance to serve? And how many incredible opportunities would I never have had because I didn't say yes to the next thing? Okay. And so over the last year, 2 years, 3, however many, our conference has grown exponentially. We are excited about what everyone's goals are for this year, you know, and just being able to lean into how much more is possible when you choose to stretch yourself, when you choose to say yes to whatever your next thing is. Okay. And so, as a wife, as a mother, it's important to me to work with women who value family. It's important to me to support women who are like, I want to be present with my family, but I also have this idea. I have this vision in my mind that this is how I see myself, but I don't know how to do it. I have a vision of myself on the stage. I have a vision of myself in this magazine. I have a vision of myself serving this kind of person. I have a vision of this dream, but I'm not sure how. I'm not sure when, because I have these kids and this husband and these responsibilities. I'm not sure about all of these moving elements, okay? That is where our productivity framework and my mission come into play, which is to help support you as you just become this great phenom that you're born to be. Okay. I am always such an advocate that we have to learn to delegate in order to experience a new level of capability, right? Like there's things that I have to, I can't do all the stuff I used to do. I just don't have time. And if I'm looking for what aligns with my purpose and what pays me, we're preparing to partner with Hyatt again this summer and this fall, right? For the conference this year, the lifestyle editor of Essence Magazine, Tracy, is our Sunday speaker. You want to know how? I emailed her and I said, hey, it's Christina. And she knew exactly who I was. And she knew exactly what the event was. And she said, I usually don't go to stuff. She said, but I think I might have to go to this. There's so many places where you're supposed to reach for something bigger. You're supposed to be doing it. It has your name on it. Like it actually does. It's right there. It has your name on it, but there's something that's blocking that progress, right? And so we want to be able to soak in and enjoy our families, but also give our all to our ideas and our visions and our missions that are calling us in this life. I don't want to drop the ball. And so the work that you and I will do together, is to help you figure out that balance. But we also work on why you need the balance. Why do you need it? Why do you want it? Why do you want to do less of this stuff? I want to do less of this over here because this is what's calling me. This is what I see in my future, and I'm ready to move in that direction. I'm not going to miss anything because I'm watering plants and wasting time. I'm not going to miss out on my next thing because I'm addicted to doing what's more comfortable. I'm not going to miss out on what's next for me because I don't want to pay the cost of success. Like I'm going to lean all the way in. I'm going to dive all the way in because I know that I'm a person that's in demand. I'm a person that is needed by the world. Right? I know that to be true. Every single day, every single week, I see posts from women. And I told somebody else this, so you guys are going to laugh. Somebody did a post about she did a post about somebody making a post about her. And she was like, I just feel as though I just told her that her website was messed up and she's too much of an expert to do X, Y, and Z, and she should hire me. And I told them, I said, just because something is your expertise doesn't mean people want your help. I said, I see posts all the time. Moms talking about they're overwhelmed. They don't know when they're going to get stuff done. They want to do this, but they're not sure about X, Y, and Z. They're procrastinating. They're stressed out, all this stuff. They know they have so many ideas. They have 15 ideas. And all of them, they're working on every single idea every single day. And they're all over the... I see it all the time. So, but all I could do is do an invitation to say, there's a whole nother life on the other side of this. There's a place where we get to sort through our mind stuff, like our drama in our mind about making decisions. We get to work through the drama in our hearts, right? About choosing us in this phase of our life. We got to work through the drama of resurrecting boundaries. All of these different situations, making decisions and feeling good about those decisions, making them quickly so that we don't just labor over the things. We're still trying to choose about, I don't know, that ebook font. And it's on your vision board for 2024 now. It's like, baby, that wasn't even that important. That wasn't even the end of the world. But our minds are in such on the hamster wheel mode that we don't always know how to work on the inside and get ourselves off of there. Okay. So that is what we do in productivity coaching together. We work together for those consecutive months. Okay. And we work on what is your dream? What is your goal? What do you want? What do you need? What do you need? Tracy said the font you need to use is on the vision board, but then they still can't see it. And so we get hung up on certain things over the course of time. That's the work that we're going to do together, working through who God is calling us to be, who our families need us to be, and who we want to be to them. And then making really powerful decisions from a place of, I have so much to give. I have so much to give the world. Now I got to figure out how to give it to them and when to give it to them, and, how to let my capacity be stretched slowly but surely. As I was thinking yesterday, and we're going to hop off. I was thinking yesterday or today, riding in the car, and I just closed my eyes as I was thinking about the conference stuff and all of these incredible tasks that I have to accomplish. And I reminded myself of this one fact. Every single goal I set, I accomplish. This is like an affirmation for somebody. If you want it, you can steal it. Every single goal I set, I accomplish. Every single one. There hasn't been one that I put on the thing and did not do. Even if it didn't happen in the month span that I wanted it to happen. Even if it rolled over for an extra month, Tracy, every goal I set, I accomplish. And I work with my clients until they do the same thing, until they can predict their results. You can predict exactly what's going to happen this year because you're doing the work. You've already set it up to make it happen. You've already, like Tracy just switched her pitch up. The way that she was doing some things, we're going to just switch that up so we get the yes, right? We're going to learn how to do those proposals. We're going to learn how to shoot our shot. We're going to learn how to work on our public relations. We're going to learn all of this because I know it's time for my next. Okay. So if that's you, if you want to talk about coaching, let's work together for the rest of the year. Let's go into 2024 with some serious checks off of the list. Okay. It will be my absolute honor to walk with you in that process. Okay. So feel free to shoot me a message after this is over. I think my husband is doing like a pastoral live or something tonight after this. So I'll be up if you want to shoot me a DM, if you need to think on it. I mean, what are you even thinking about at this point? Listen, this is all we do here. And if you decide to work with me this year, a bonus is you get to come to the conference. Your ticket, either VIP for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or just the weekend, is included in your ticket. What? Who does that? Okay, so it'll be my honor to partner with you, and you get to grab your Mamathon conference ticket and come and sit with the sisters and work on your strategy and work on your plan of success. Okay, I love you all so much. I hope you feel the love from the bottom of my heart, and I look forward to catching up with you all soon. All right, have a great night.